Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Cory Connors. Today's guest is Mr. Dominique Andreas. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good, good. And I apologize if I said your name incorrectly. Can you pronounce it correctly for our audience?
Jean-Dominique was perfect. My family name is Andreu, which is a bit difficult to pronounce, so that's fine.
I appreciate the correct pronunciation. It means a lot to me that I get it correct. So I apologize for not. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, sir? You're on the advisory board for all kinds of committees and events at the Paris Packaging Week, but you do a lot more than that. Can you fill us in on your story?
Yeah, well, I've been in the spirit business for close to 30 years. I started as an entrepreneur, created the cognac house.
Wow.
Basically from scratch. You know, people usually say that the cognac house, generally you just inherit it or you buy it for a lot of money, you know,
Yeah.
but there's no startup plan, you know, it's not something that you do usually. But we started from scratch and it did succeed. And for almost 20 years, I was running my own business. And this is, I think what got me interested into packaging is that for cognac being really I would say probably the category of spirit which is the most associated with luxury. I mean, packaging has always been absolutely at the center of everything. You know, it's and we are talking what 30 years ago. You know, it's the question were a little bit different than today. But I've been very interested into packaging, into design, into what was possible to do, into new techniques. And this is how I got interested in since the beginning. Yeah.
Spirits packaging has always fascinated me. It's not a zone of the world of packaging that I've been intimately involved with, but I've always been totally impressed with the beautiful glass and chipboard and corrugated that gets created to protect and display spirits. So well done. That's a fun industry to be a part of.
Yeah, it is.
I know a large part of Paris Packaging Week is the spirits and that kind of area of packaging. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Paris Packaging Week?
So yes, they contacted me, I think, 4 years ago when they were thinking about starting the show, starting the exhibition. They asked me, I would say in a very, candid way, you know, my advice, if I thought it was a good idea, if it was a good idea to make the trade show in Paris, and etc. etc. Well, and I told them what I thought. I thought it was a brilliant idea because there was no real, I would say, luxury packaging show in Paris, and Paris is very important for luxury brand. You know, there's many luxury brands which come here. There's lots of things associated with luxury in Paris, and I thought it was perfect. It's a great city where you have a high-speed train coming from all over Europe. You have a massive international airport. You have plenty of hotel, plenty of restaurants. So it's perfect. I would say very often, you know, what makes the success of a trade show is logistic, because with I would say an easy logistic, you get people to come, and when you have people who are getting together, you know, you make a successful show. So I'm a strong believer in the Paris Packaging Week.
Oh, very well said. And I'm excited to go. This will be my first time this year, or I should say next year. It's in January. We're talking here in December. Can you tell us something that you're excited to see at the event?
Well, I would say lots of things. I'm also there's a jury for the Innovation Packaging Award for spirits. So actually the jury is meeting this week.
Oh, cool.
But being the president of the jury, I was able to see all the different candidates last week. And I think we have absolutely, I would say the level this year is far much better than last year. There's lots of things. I think we are living in a very interesting time in spirit packaging, because I would say the category did not adapt so fast to the sustainable, you know, all the issues around sustainability.
Right.
Especially when you are talking about, say, I would say top range, I don't know, XO cognac and etc., with very heavy Zamax, you know, closure, you know, bottle which are far too heavy, etc. So I mean, it took some time for the brand to change, but now we are starting to see lots of changes coming up.
Mhm.
And it is getting very interesting because there's really an acceleration. Of course, the market leader are setting the pace, so all the Moet Hennessy group has really put a very, very high target, and they're coming with lots of interesting innovations. And also the supplier are coming with new material, with new solution, new technique. You look at, we say, Ruinart, this Ruinart Blanc de Blanc, I mean, which won an award last year for this beautiful pack. I mean, we never seen this before. So it is, I think it's very interesting for all the design agency, for all the marketing people to come, see what's going on.
Yeah.
And I would say not only for the packaging expert, because
Right.
me, for example, I come more from a marketing background, I would say a business background. So it's not so it's really, I would say, brand building and brand strategy from commercial marketing. So I'm not a packaging person, I would say, by DNA.
Right.
But I'm very interested in them. So I'm an amateur in packaging.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting because very often, I would say, in lots of groups, the packaging people report to purchasing.
Yes.
And the marketing people very often talk to agencies.
Mm-hmm.
And they listen to what commercials say, I would say, most of the time. So it's not so often that you have, I would say, marketing people who understand packaging and vice versa, and who understand commercial issues.
Yeah.
So, but I think right now, with the current, I would say, the acceleration that we are seeing around sustainability, around the new techniques, new solution, it is a must to be out there, to see what's going on, because honestly, you will be surprised, and very often there's things that exist that not everybody is aware of.
Very true. Well said. And it's important to understand that not just purchasing, not just sales, not just marketing needs to understand what's going on in the world of packaging, because it affects the whole business and it affects the whole society, in my opinion. And I totally agree with what you said. This event isn't just for people that love packaging. It's for all kinds of people that are interested in design and manufacturing, the latest and greatest in all the things. So very well said. I'm excited for the event as well. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your consulting. You're also a consultant for EXO. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do there?
So I'm consulting for different companies, all in the spirit business. So it could be, I've been working for Edrington recently for almost 2 years on Brugge. I've been working in the past for overrun producers or some other project. So it could be a project it's not especially project on packaging. Packaging is part of it, but there's lots of subjects which are around branding, I would say brand positioning or repositioning. I would say including everything from route to market, working with P&L, working, even, I would say, even liquid.
Wow.
So I'm really involved, I would say, in lots of different aspects. It's really 360 degrees. Yeah. For example, I'm working, I can tell you about something which is which we are launching early next year. But we are building a distillery in London with a pot still from cognac, and we will start the first British brandy next year. So I would say inauguration will be around February, and it will be in London. So that will be a city distillery with a bar and everything. So I will not tell more than that because it has not been announced yet. But
that's very exciting.
So
I'll have to come back.
I work in, I would say, even technical aspect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you're ready to help companies from startup all the way to fruition of a product. And even if they already have products, you can help guide them to be even more successful.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I think spirits is an area of packaging I need to investigate more. And I'm excited to see this part of the show.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that innovation last year? You said you were very impressed with the winner from last year's show. What was that about?
There was several winners in different categories, but
Right.
we gave a special prize to Ruinart for their, the Blanc de Blanc of Ruinart. It's a beautiful champagne, and there's a big trend today for, I would say, spirit without a box. I know you wanted to ask me this
Yeah.
question, but I'm not an extremist in this. I think there's been boxes for different reasons, and we should not take too radical measure. I think so,
Right.
and I think Ruinart really addressed that in an intelligent way because they have a transparent bottle. The effect of light can affect the quality of the champagne, and they wanted also to protect the champagne and present it in with an elegant way. And they make this beautiful, I would say, second skin, which is in paper pulp, and with
Is
a
that made by
special,
Colorform?
yeah. And it's well, and they redid it this year for Don Ruinart, so which this has been released as well. And this is a good example. So typically, I think this type of box is absolutely perfect, And very often you can, since people are doing more and more e-commerce, a box is important. So maybe the purpose of the box also could be, we saw lots of people coming with boxes which are suitable for shipping. So but they might be in cardboard, and they are very often in cardboard.
That's great.
Also, so there is still boxes. I think secondary packaging, what we call secondary packaging, is an area which is changing a lot because the purpose of the box of the secondary pack is not exactly the same as before. So the standard, it might be something used for, as I said, for e-commerce. It could be something to protect the bottle. But it could be also a glorifier. If you're talking about a super expensive, I don't know, $3,000 bottle, it could be just the thing that you will put in your bar at home, that will reveal the bottle. So it could be like a kind of glorifier. So I think those things are changing a little bit, But I think there will still be boxes, yeah, for sure.
Very, very true. I agree 100%. Sometimes you need the box for a gift, or like you said, to display on your shelf. You're proud of your fancy bottle of spirits or champagne. Absolutely necessary. I was impressed with that Colorform molded pulp packaging. They were on the show.
Absolutely incredible. But I did recently. I work on a box for the decanter, which will be. It's not on the market yet, and I will not tell for who it is, but it is something that will be in the area of $200, so an expensive bottle.
Wow.
And we did pack it into a cardboard box because today this is acceptable. People understand it, and they know that this is absolutely sustainable. So this is not a problem. I mean, people buy, I would say, electronic or things which are in cardboard box, which cost much more than that.
Very true. And corrugated and cardboard is very recyclable all over the world, or reusable. Oftentimes you'll see corrugated boxes getting reused for different purposes, either storage or repacking. I've always loved the spirits packaging where the bottle manufacturer will pack the bottles in a 12-pack or 24-pack, and then the filler will just put the bottles back into that same corrugated box. So I thought, now that's a brilliant idea to use a box several times. Corrugated can be used dozens of times if it's handled properly.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like that's part of the future of sustainability is reuse?
Yes, but I think there's a lot of ideas which are coming. So we have not seen all of it, It's always amazing to see. I think reuse, refill. I mean, when you come to glass, I mean, without naming, when you have a bottle in crystal which costs $3,000 or $4,000, and the people drink it to the last drop. And then you have this beautiful, absolutely beautiful bottle, which basically has no purpose, which can go on the shelf, get dust, and will eventually get broken, you know.
Right.
I mean, this makes me upset. You know, this is
Yeah.
insane. This is just such a waste of okay. I mean, there's the ego of the people who drink it, fine, but
Yeah.
no, this is clearly not acceptable. And I think the people who buy it understand it, you know, and so it is really important. And the brands are starting to react onto this. This is so I'm not we see, but this is very difficult because the people want to indulge themselves. They want to buy those expensive crystal decanter, everything, you know, and you know, because it's a show. So how do you manage the show and the sustainability? You know, I mean,
Right.
human being is a little bit, you know, no, we say one thing and we say the other, you know. That's there is solution, and brands are starting to come with solutions, you know, because it's, I mean, everybody know that packaging in some of those, I mean, you don't have to be very smart. You just have to look what's the price of the crystal decanter, what's the price of the box and everything. You know, there's more cost in the packaging than in the liquid. Huh? That's a fact.
Very true. Yeah.
Anybody could make the calculation. So to see all this cost and all this material, all this craftsmanship that basically will get broken or will get thrown away or will be the waste one way or the other, this I think is not possible for brands. They cannot keep it like that. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Because, you know, one thing, and I think that's the most important thing to understand, is that luxury is really leading into sustainability.
Yes.
All the luxury brand and luxury spirit is not so, and luxury spirit is not an exception to that. And of course, luxury spirit has been behind fashion, behind cosmetic, behind hospitality, behind etc. etc. But the consumer are expecting that because they expect when you buy a product at a certain price, you want a product which is absolutely perfect. And luxury is about perfection.
Yes.
So this is why I think there's a great business. There will be more innovation. I think it's very important to come to the show to see what's happening. It will come step by step, but we are living in a very interesting time.
Yes. Yeah. And I agree that refill is a great part of the future of sustainability. I feel like, and I'd love to know your opinion on this, that a refill program could also lead to customer loyalty. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. And CRM.
Right. And a major cost savings for both involved, right?
Yes. Well, it can be very profitable for the brand, huh? It can be very profitable for the brand. It's a good opportunity for the brand to know their customer, to catch their data, and you know, we don't do things for nothing, huh?
Well said.
Yeah, but of course. I mean, all this is positive. I mean, we just have to anticipate the change, look at what the right direction, and go into the. And I don't know how to say it properly in English, but follow the change.
Yes, yes, I agree. And is there any questions I should have asked you that I didn't? Is there anything that you wanted to talk about we didn't get to discuss?
No, I think you cover it all.
Oh, good. Well, very, very much looking forward to meeting you in Paris in January. How can people get in touch with you to connect?
Well, on LinkedIn. Easily. Yeah, my name is a bit unusual, so if they start to type Jean-Dominique, there's not so many Jean-Dominique, and then they type Andreu, Andreu, and then it's easy.
I'll put the link to your profile in the show notes so people can contact
you. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank Fairs for sponsoring this podcast. It's been a great organization to work with, and I'm excited to continue this relationship. If you're listening, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And looking forward to talking to you all soon. Thank you.